March 2023, baby. Oh man. So obviously there was so much speculation going on in the last like 6 to 8 months that March 2023 was going to be either when Alpha 2 launched or when we were going to get major news about Alpha 2. And on the very last day of March, that ended up coming true. We do now have a timeline for Alpha 2, and that is early next year, basically. I know I have been in for the last, I don't know, a few months been going, okay, I think they need to tell us if we're looking at years or if we're looking at months. What they need to give us some time. It's just, they could have just said, hey, look, we're thinking maybe quarter 4 of next year or this year, just give us a timeline. And they hadn't done that up until now, but they did that today during the live stream. It was a really big deal. You could tell that, you could see it on Steven's face that he was really, really disappointed to be having to say this to people. Like, he didn't want to have to say it, which leads me to believe that some of the early speculation from late last year that we were getting close to Alpha 2 may have been true. And then they hit some type of snag and said, oh, no, it's going to be longer. Whether it be something held them back or they just had the realization we can't do this as fast as we think, or whatever. I feel like that's kind of what happened, because the look on Steven's face was just like devastated. Steven was also sick, so he may have just been sick and he may have been just fine to deliver that news. I don't know. But so there we go. We have it. We know Alpha 2 is going to be sometime early next year. So we have some time. We now know what we're looking at, which I think that's huge. It's great news. It's great news for me personally, because I'm sitting here going, how hard do I invest in this or that, or look at this or any of those types of things? Because, when Alpha 2 launched, it was going to interrupt my entire program. Everything I was doing was going to be interrupted when Alpha 2 got here. Now we know roughly when it's going to be. So just as a stupid little example, when Return to Moria comes out in springtime of this year, I can just play it and not worry about, oh, they're going to launch Alpha 2 soon, and then I'm going to have to stop playing Return to Moria, because I can tell you I'm going to be playing Return to Moria. But I definitely wouldn't be playing it if Alpha 2 existed, or at least not nearly as much. So those types of things are good. Now, obviously, it kind of sucks that it's so far away, right? Like, God, that's a long ways away. But it's going to be fine. It's going to give them the time to really build out this thing and have a really impressive launch. And I think that Steven spent a fair amount of time talking about the launch of this game has to go correct. And, Stakino, my buddy Stakino, if you're not subscribed to him on YouTube, you should go subscribe to him. He does Ash's videos and they're great. He actually met up with Margaret at PAX East and had a conversation with her and got to talk to her a little bit. Now, she wasn't there as a representative of Intrepid. She was there for herself as a streamer. And so she wasn't really answering a lot of Ash's questions, and that's totally fine. But he mentioned to us that one of the things that she kept stressing was the first impression. And it was really, really important for them to make a great first impression. And so if that's the case, then, maybe that's what they're looking at, is they taken a look at what's coming down the line and said, when we come out of the gates, we have to come out like gangbusters. We cannot be one of these MMOs that releases early. And so they're just saying, hey, look, we're just going to take the hit now, spend an extra year, get it all the way to the point where when Alpha 2 launches, number one, it's going to be absolutely amazing. And number two, we won't have to spend a year and a half or 2 years in Alpha 2, because that's going to kill the hype, because there won't be a lot of questions about the game if streamers are streaming it for 2 years before the general public can get a hold of it. So Alpha 2 can't be super long like that. So I do suspect that that's how that's going to go. They did that calculation and said we can't have a years long Alpha 2 like maybe we originally thought we would, when we didn't realize the hype that was going to be surrounding this game. So guys, go do something else. Like, get a hobby, just collect stamps. You can do whatever. Play a different video game. Join a Discord community. Touch grass, maybe. Just a thought. For another year or so, and then we'll all be doing Alpha 2 together, or a lot of us will be doing Alpha 2 together, and a lot of other of you will be watching us, and it'll be a great time, and it'll all be fun. But we have about a year. But great news. We actually know we have about a year. All right. That's all I have, guys. We'll see y'all in the next one.